Hi, everyone. Delfino Aguilar here, SVP of Wholesale Production at Kind Lending, and your host of our series that's powered by Kind Lending, Del Talk. I'm really excited to bring you guys the second installment of our interview with Andrew Berman. We shared a lot of content with you guys in our first one. In our second installment, we're going to talk about Clubhouse and all these different type of marketing platforms that are out there, Instagram and Facebook. We're going to talk about that as well, too. A lot of content around that. We're also going to talk about this kind of, I don't want to say it's new, but kind of a trend that we're seeing of people getting into the mortgage industry after taking a break for a couple of years, maybe even longer. We're also seeing a trend of people with no mortgage experience coming into it. So that's a great sight to see. We're going to end it by talking about his thoughts for 2021. I love 2021 so far. I think there's a lot of great momentum in the mortgage industry. I hope you guys enjoy our final installment with Andrew Berman. Enjoy. Have a great day. Andrew, what do you think about like all brokers and people that are using Instagram and Facebook? How have you seen those tools? There's a new app called Clubhouse as well too. Not sure if you've been familiar with that one as too, but there's a lot of different people using even more and more apps are coming out. What are your thoughts around that specific type of marketing?
Well, and first off, I just got to apologize. I just picked up my phone actually. My daughter's having a party upstairs, and the pizza's not here. So I just messaged my wife. It's on its way.
I love it.
Listen. This is the new norm. This is the temporary norm. This is actually what we have to deal with. So listen, I think
before you answer that, I got a question for you. What type of pizza is it? Cheese, pepperoni, or what kind of pizza are you ordering?
It's not Hawaiian. There's no avocados on there. There's no fancy. This is like New York pizza.
I love it.
Original New York great pizza. It's in our town. We probably have about 10 pizza places, if I'm not mistaken. 10 pizza places, and they're all amazing. They're all unbelievable, phenomenal places.
Nice.
So yeah, like that's just it. We're just getting regular pizzas here.
I love it. Yeah.
What kind of pizza you go for?
I mean, my kids only want cheese. I have 3 girls and a boy, and they're all under 14. All they like is cheese pizza, and I'm like, guys, you got to mix it up. I haven't had a good New York slice of pizza, though, so I'm excited about that. Maybe I got to get that Barstool app, that has the one pizza, one bite, everybody knows the rules. I'm sure you're
something so what's interesting about that, I love that app. I've actually used it to find new pizza places.
Nice.
I got to say, I'm actually it is actually something that I find. I've found new pizza places. I've gone with my daughters, so they can actually so we can go and actually try different pizza places.
Awesome.
We've gone to some of the top rated pizza places on the app because obviously these top places are. Most of them are in New York. I mean, let's call it a spade. Like New York. I mean, supposedly Connecticut has a few others, but we are without a question. We are the king of pizza. New York is just like we just beat everyone else.
I love it. So, I love it. I'm a big fan of pizza, obviously, but I'm a big fan of Dave too from Barstool because of all the stuff he's doing for self-employed, all the people that he's helping, especially New York, the East Coast, all over the United States. So shout out to him. So I'm jealous about pizza. I'm actually kind of hungry right now. It's almost 2:00 here in San Diego. So we were talking a little bit about, the apps. We got Clubhouse, Instagram, Facebook. I'm seeing more and more of my customers active on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more active on it. We got Kind Lending's all over it too. We have a YouTube. So what are your thoughts about that? I mean, obviously you're a fan. You think there's better tools. What are your thoughts about that in general?
So first off, Clubhouse. Let's just address Clubhouse because Clubhouse is just this thing that I don't think actually if there was any other time that Clubhouse would have been launched. But if you just said, okay, here's going to be a new social network. Okay, you can't chat, no video, you can't actually even put links except your Instagram and your Twitter account, and all you're doing actually is just going on there and talking. Can't record it, can't save content. Like the content exists out there and it goes into the ether. So like if you just would have said this in 2019, I said, you're crazy. But I think actually I feel like this underscores like how thirsty people are for interaction and in a casual way. Because have you been spending time on Clubhouse?
Me and Chris have been in it. We're new to it, so we're still. I'll be honest, we're still learning it. We're still kind of figuring out. Glenn's on it. Glenn Stearns is on a Clubhouse. He's been on there several times. But are you active on it? Are you pretty active on Clubhouse, or?
I mean, I'm just getting my feet wet. I'm really just trying to.
So Glenn's on tonight at 8:30.
I just saw that. I don't know.
Girls are on it.
That's awesome. I'm going to be on that.
Me too.
With Grant Cardone. Oh my
God. Cardone. Nice.
Grant, I think, is on it like 24 hours. Like I see, actually, I get notifications when Grant goes on, when Grant goes live, and it's like, I see it actually 7 o'clock in the morning. I see it at 2 o'clock actually at night, and in the middle of the night. So, but here's the thing about Clubhouse, and it reminds me like the early days of Twitter. Like, so when we started National Mortgage Professional Magazine, I'm like, okay, what do we do to connect with executives that we've never connected with before? How do we reach the C-suite? And at that time on Twitter, interestingly enough, the C-suite were actually on Twitter, like without a filter. Like they didn't have a marketing department or their legal department, looking at the tweets that they were sending or their interactions. And I made a lot of great connections, to some kind of early adopters, to take Christie's word, early adopters that were using Twitter in 2006, 2009 to kind of create some relationships. We created some content around that, found some advertisers, and that's what it feels like Clubhouse is. Clubhouse, you have like guys like Glenn Stearns. You have actually the co-founder of PennyMac was on. I mean, you have a lot of top executives that are going on there and sharing their thoughts, because I feel like actually it's like they don't have to worry about what they're saying being used against them, in some other format, because it's not being recorded. It exists there, then it goes into the ether, and from that, I feel like actually like people are just willing to say what they want to say and do what they want to do in a way that they would not normally do in like on a webinar or on a video presentation, which really comes from them missing those opportunities that they would have at in-person trade shows, at in-person networking opportunities. And that you're seeing huge in real estate and mortgage. Real estate and mortgage are just, they're taking over this platform. And I'm seeing like, there's a bunch of different actually people on there, but it seems to be hey, just got into the business last year. I did, 12 loans actually, in 2020, and they're just getting their feet wet. And then you got like top producers, just people actually that are just hitting it out of the park that are doing, 12 loans a week. So you've got actually, you've got this mix of people actually that are just kind of new, just like they'll still actually the ink is still wet on their business card if people are still using business cards.
Right.
And from that, you basically have just this. People are getting advice, from these leaders that are sharing ideas. And I think actually, the most time that it seems to be the active for our industry is like 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. So we see actually Glenn is going to be on it at
8:30 tonight for Glenn.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. So it's a great platform. I don't understand exactly the full power of it yet, but I know it's got to be something, because Facebook is right now. They're like, what do we do? We need to develop our own.
So Clubhouse, we'll see, right? I think it's going to be popular. I was with John Tallinger and from class, and he told me he was new to it too. So Christy vouched for me to get in. So thank you, Christy. I appreciate that love. She's watching right now. So we're excited about that. So you said something, and I want to touch on real quick. And it's not something we talked about earlier. So you said, earlier that you saw people on Clubhouse that were new to the industry.
Yeah.
What I've started to see a lot of people over the last 9 months, 10 months that are new to the industry, or maybe they were in 2008, they got out, and now they're back in. A lot of people have reached out to me on that. And so we're starting to see that. We're starting to see a lot of different people coming in back into the industry. Any thoughts on that at all? Or you think it's good, or just, as a mortgage broker, as an old mortgage broker, loan officer, what's, your thoughts on that, or any thoughts at all on that? But I'm starting to see a lot of that now.
Well, I mean, listen, I love actually that people are getting back into the industry. I mean, it's an amazing industry. I mean, just really think about this. Like, what other industry can you be able to serve your clients, help them fulfill the American dream, if you want to call it the American dream, or it is actually, most people want to own something. They want to own real estate. So you're able to do that while picking your income next month. You literally pick your income next month. You decide actually, all right, you know something? We want to take a cruise with the family, coming up in January. So I'm going to make sure that I'm hustling with my book of business in November and December. So I don't have to worry about actually anything. So you can literally actually decide how much money you're going to make the following month by helping people in a way actually that you change their lives. I mean, people's financial trajectories are completely altered by the work you're doing as an originator. So seeing new people come into it and seeing actually fresh faces saying this is great, I can't believe this, I love this, that's awesome. As far as the seasoned vets that have been coming back into it, listen, some are jaded, some are actually like they're like it's, we used to do it a little differently, and they're frustrated because they don't understand the technology. They want to actually just get walk into real estate agents and just because they're wearing a nice suit that they should get the business. So you have actually you have the seasoned vets that are kind of like a little stubborn, but then you also have a lot of them that are just like, okay, wait, this is great. I could do so much more. I've got a friend of mine who had just got in the mortgage business. He was a successful mortgage broker in Florida. Became actually, he reached out to me about 6 months ago and said, I think I'm getting back in the game. And I'm like, fantastic. It's a completely different game. Like actually, you did actually, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, so different than it was today. It's like, yeah, I know, and I'm excited about it because I can use actually my knowledge and share my knowledge using, social media, using in a way actually that I couldn't do back then, and because of that, actually, he's excited and he just hit the ground running. So there's a lot of people, actually, that are getting back into it and that are figuring out ways to, just kind of understand. Actually, the process is very different, but the process, in many cases, for many people that are doing the right thing and focused on the consumer experience and making sure actually borrowers are happy, and not focused on profitability, but focusing on just helping as many people as you possibly can, they're kicking butt.
I love that. It was interesting because I'm getting calls from people that are back in that I used to work with back in 2006, 7, and 8, and I'm like, welcome back, but get ready. Get ready. It's a lot different. But they're doing well. I think you hit it best, is helping the consumer, right? The mortgage broker, definitely.
So I got to ask you a question. So have you taken any account executives off the shelf, that said, they were out of the business, and brought them back into wholesales? They left the business. Listen, your career spans decades. You've worked with some amazing people, and I'm sure actually there's got to be some people on the way like, hey, I wish actually I can get her back in the business. She was great back then. She would love this. So have you brought people back into this business that stepped away from the business altogether?
That's a good question. I'm hiring somebody starting March 1st. That he was an account executive and that was a mortgage broker, but he still kept in contact with all of his clients, and he kept it real good, close with the big ones, right? It's all about the good, strong relationship with his clients. He became a mortgage loan officer for actually one of them, and he's like, Del, I want to get back in. He's a great guy, and I'm all about. For us, the kind of people we look at, Kind, Andrew, is really about the person. You can be the biggest top producer, and we talked about, an onboard terrorist, and you're not good with operations and things like that. It's all about finding the right person, to bring in building blocks for us here at Kind. And so for us, and for him in particular, he's been out of the game for about 1.5 years as an account executive. And we've been talking for a while and things like that. And I think he's going to do really well, keeps in contact with his clients. So on the flip side, like you said, like there's people that are coming back in, and he's going to come back in. He started with us March 1st. So I'm excited about that, and so I think there's a right person for that. Not everyone's going to fit that mold. But if you find that right person, they're going to do well, So I'm excited about that. So one more thing for you. So you are doing a podcast that you rolled out, and it's Mortgage Leadership Outlook. And so you talk to a lot of different people. So what are your thoughts in general for 2021? I mean, there's a lot going on. You hear a lot of feedback from different leaders. Great podcast, by the way. What are some closing thoughts you think for 2021?
So listen, 2021 is basically so 2020. You just actually had to just react and take the business coming in, and just not screw it up. I mean, and unfortunately, many pieces of our industry wasn't ready for the business. So there were some growing pains to get up to that level. But a lot of cases, we hired, we built up, we added to our tech stack. And I'm seeing 2021 as a time actually that from the lenders I'm talking to, they've hired the additional staff. They're tweaking their tech stack, and they're looking at ways that they can market themselves, in ways that they weren't marketing themselves before.
Right.
I mean, what it comes down to is, for originators to succeed in 2021, they need to do the same thing they did in 2020, but they also need to actually to be ready, because at some point, there's not going to be refis. I don't know if it's going to be here. Listen, last year actually, people were talking actually, rates going down to 2s and even with a 1 in them. And I don't know that we're actually going to see that, but at some point actually, there is not going to be refis, and we need to actually be prepared to I think to take care of the purchase market, and also look at products that maybe we weren't doing before, whether it's HELOCs or non-QM. I think actually it's important to have to be able to pivot when it's going to be needed, and I think that's really what it takes. So improve your tech stack, keep working on, take some of the money actually that you made in the business, and do what you need to do to kind of invest in the business, grow actually, basically spend actually as much as you can, investing into your business, figure out ways that you can pretty much, just beat 2020. Because I'm talking to people out there that are already actually setting their sights on beating 2020. So that's really what it comes down to. I think actually it's important to be able to kind of take actually the lessons that we learned from 2020, improve it in 2021, and that's how we're going to be able to sustain our business beyond because. In our industry, and I just had a podcast. Eric Mitchell said that 70% of originators won't be in the business actually in 5 years, and I think actually there's definitely a case for that. I see actually another trend actually seems to be happening. If you look at the top originators in many cases, I mean with a lot of outliers, but with many cases, they're teams. So I see actually, the future actually of this business, being more team effort, and then you have, the leader or leaders within that team that are just focusing on. They're not chasing around paperwork. They're not chasing around actually any kind of missing actually stipulations, but they're focused on the most valuable time, which is basically that initial engagement with that borrower, turning them from a suspect to a prospect, and then turning them from a prospect into a borrower, and doing what they can to pass the baton. Let actually either the technology take the applications, or let someone on their team take the applications. Never chase down documents. Never actually get involved actually in other things, but focusing actually on that client interaction at the two most critical points of the transaction, and doing what they can do to kind of build in actually a funnel, whether that funnel is going to be real estate agents, financial planners, accountants, CPAs, or just direct marketing, creating content going on Facebook, social media, maybe even Clubhouse, creating that content. There's a lot of great things that you could do to have an unbelievable years. We got great tools and great lending partners like Kind Lending. I mean, it's with technology, great pricing, and great leaders. We're an amazing place. And I gotta say, I'm a fan of the mortgage broker. My dad was a mortgage broker. I grew up actually at mortgage broker conferences. So I love seeing actually the mortgage broker just hitting it strong and only actually and now having the tools to be able to compete against the biggest banks, when they're working with, the proper lenders, using the best technology, and just being their authentic self on social media and getting their message.
I love it, Andrew. A lot of great things. I think you said something that sticks with me is a lot of things you said, but one of the things that sticks with me is the pivot. I think mortgage brokers do a really good job of that, of pivoting products and I think that's I'm a big fan of the mortgage broker. I've only worked with mortgage brokers. I think they're going to take their share, continue to grow. We're really excited about partnering with them. I think another thing, you're right, the most successful shops that I have seen grow quickly are teams. I'm starting to see that team, one head person. They, like you said, they meet with the initial borrower and they have a support team to help them close more and more loans. And I think, that's what we're trying to do here at Kind Lending, give our account executives that support as well too, so to help them build their business. So Andrew, man, this has been one of my funnest interviews. Thank you so much. We talked Mexico earlier. We got pizza. We threw in Barstool. Like, I love it. It's been awesome. A lot of good content here. To close it off, thank you again, Andrew Berman, for your time today. If we want to reach you, they can follow you on LinkedIn. You also have your Facebook handle, your Facebook as well, right? Yep. You're on Instagram. Yep.
The Clubhouse. Yep. I'm all over the place. It's very difficult not to find me.
Very difficult not to find you. So thank you so much, Andrew. Listen, man. I hope you guys get a little bit of warm weather in New York. I'll be thinking of you guys there. I know that there's some snow out there. So thank you so much for your time, man. Honestly, this has been fun. I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Okay.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching. If you want more information about Andrew, you can visit his handles that we discussed earlier, or you can go to kindlending.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.